Alright, so after a tightly contested first match and one hell of a submission in round 2, we're now on to round 3 of IBJJF Nogi Worlds. My opponent Eric here is the toughest I faced today, seated at number 5, so let's see how I'm able to fare against someone who's rated so highly. So off the bat, he decides to pull guard, and once again, I'm okay with that. I prefer guard passing, and I've released a lot of videos on guard passing, so if you guys want to go check those out, I'll leave the links in the description, or some cards will pop up right here. I initially started off going for a knee slice, then transitioning to my north-south sequences. What I've learned a lot over the past month or so is chain passing rather than just using my knee slice or my north-south pass, and that's something I've gotten really good at. Unfortunately, after Worlds, Eric was able to stop me in both of those attacks, and now he's transitioning to a berimbolo. To counter the bolo, I decided to sit my butt to the ground, blocking the back exposure. However, this does lead to a sweep, which was a very technical error on my end, giving up 2 points when I should have fought a little harder. So one super valuable piece of information that I can give you guys right here is notice how Eric has his right hand on my hip. If he were to drop his shoulder here and use his right leg to knee cut over my right leg, I could be in a lot of danger here. So I'm gonna use my left leg to circle over his shoulder, putting it back to the inside position and neutralizing that threat. If you guys watch some of my other videos, this is probably one of the biggest guard retention tips I can give you, as keeping your feet directly in front of your opponent is a very good concept to keep in mind when trying to retain your guard. One thing I think I struggle a lot with in competition is sometimes I get very fixated on attacking just my A game and only using the moves inside of that A game arsenal, which at Worlds was about 5. So you'll see me go for a lot of those hip bump triangles, a lot of knee cuts and north-south passes, and not really use a lot of chaining techniques. And I think that's one of my biggest downfalls. And as you see right there, just jumping out of the gate with the knee slice. Now, sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But watching this back, it's hard to watch. Right now, I know what I'm doing. I'm staying in headquarters and looking to just attack the knee slice when I had a lot of opportunities to chain my outside passes together. Eric also does a really good job at rewinding headquarters and putting himself back into a more dominant position, and he locks me up in a 50-50 here. And well, many people are gonna hate on him for this, and I don't think it's the most glorious game ever either, but he's playing a smart and strategic game of, you know, get your 2 points and then go to 50-50 and attack the ankle lock. So you're still attacking a submission, so the ref isn't going to call you for stalling. And what that does is it allows you to just sit here in a very stagnant position and wait at the clock for your 2 points. Now, I should mention that in round 1 with 30 seconds left, I did go to 2 on 1 half guard and intend to do the same thing, but I did not have as much success with it and almost got my back taken. So one thing my friend told me that kind of stuck with me and made this make sense is whether you win on points, advantages, or submissions, you're still going to be a blue belt world champion. So regardless of how you win, as long as you win, you're still going to have the title. And the title brings in, you know, more seminar money, more private lesson money, and overall just boosts your credibility as an athlete. But now as we're getting back to the match, I don't know why the fuck I tried this, but I saw it from someone where they back take from the 50-50, and in my version, I end up just conceding another 2 points and now being down 4-0. So now with half the match gone and being down by a very high amount of points, I decide to just spam more hip bump triangles, and this one almost comes to fruition. So this is where that competition experience really came in handy for Eric. As I went for the hip bump triangle, he did the perfect defense, ducking his head instead of trying to posture out of it, and he managed to keep himself safe and come up into half guard. So after multiple attempts for that hip bump, and now knowing that he's knowledgeable on how to defend it correctly, I know I have to start mixing up my attacks. And for this next one, I do have a really cool little niche detail that I want to share with you guys. So let's take a look at this position. Right now, I have an inside facing grip on his right arm, as well as my left leg is lassoing into his armpit. It's a loose lasso, so I'm able to easily remove it, and that's going to come in handy. But first, the inside grip I feel is a lot stronger than the outside grip because it's a lot more concealed and it's not as threatening. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I don't want to appear like I'm going for anything until I'm ready to go for it. And just to reiterate, the inside versus outside grip, see how my thumb is facing me on my left hand, and on my right hand, my thumb is facing away from me? This grip is a lot more threatening, causing your opponent to react a little more. But now we're gonna open up the pocket by removing my left leg from the lasso and opening up his shoulder for an arm drag. This is gonna allow me to get 2 points and close the gap just a little bit to hopefully be able to come back in this match. So I immediately start going to the outside, However, what I wish I would have done better is instead of just trying to engage the legs as he's swinging them around, use more angles to force him to need to turn and put a hold on the spinning of the legs to trade for mobility. He starts wrapping up onto that daily Hiva grip that he used to sweep me twice earlier, so I decided to fully disengage and come back in with the outside pass. Finally, at the end here, I'm actually starting to use some chains, so I go for the outside pass. Then as he's swinging his legs, I try to dive in for the knee cut. However, he's able to get me into almost X guard, but using the same strategies I was from round 1, I go for the underhook and try to keep my hips heavy. Unfortunately, as he transitions to single leg X and I try to pummel back into headquarters, he's able to block my foot and puts me back into 50-50. Guys, this is where things start to look really grim. We're approaching the last 90 seconds of the match, and he's up 2 and I'm stuck in 50-50, so I need to find a way to get out of this fast and score points. Fast forwarding a little bit to the escape, I'm able to get out as he goes for a calf slicer, but since they're illegal, I believe he had to let go of it, and I immediately start jumping onto north-south passes. He'll completely block the first one, and as I go in for this next attempt, I get stuck on his hip line, but I'm able to backstep and I'm almost able to pass his guard, but he turtles at the last second. And then he'll sit to his back, putting himself back to a safer position. And with 30 seconds left, I have to give everything I have for this last passing attempt. I've tried chaining the north-south into an over-under, but I get stuck in a Kimura, and as I start walking around to try and take the Kimura back into an armbar, he unfortunately was able to get his foot back in and block me from doing so. Then he'll put me back into 50-50, where respectively with 10 seconds left on the clock, he'll sit here and Eric will end up moving on to the next round.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Well, after an unfortunate loss in round 3, I did walk away with my plan for the next year, which is focusing on attacking Darce and Headlock, and I have a progression series video coming out hopefully next week, but we'll see how fast I can edit it. And if you guys haven't watched the progression series videos, they should be popping up on the screen along with the vlog from Worlds, so if you guys want, go check those videos out and stay tuned for more content.